Good morning, one and all. The rain has fell. The wind is making it a perfect day for flying a kite, in all honesty. This is Wildlife Watch. Welcome, one and all. And just like that, we begin to move into spring, and the buds on this hawthorn tree let me know that as soon as the leaves will start to appear, I can start making one of my favourite natural teas of the whole calendar. As soon as we get some leaves upon this plant. So what are the signs of spring are in the area? We take a look this week as we look at some of the flowers that are emerging now during this early spring period. You have to feel for our crocuses. They're not a native species, they're introduced. But the reason that they're introduced so widespreadly across the area is because they're one of the first flowering plants in spring. And they're very hardy at that. These guys are like the chap that you know down the pub that wears shorts on the first day that the sun's out, even though it's like 10 degrees. So these guys sense the first little symbol of spring, and it might just be only sort of like a slight raise in temperature, and they pop out the soil and they come into flower. But as we can see, it's not very spring-like today. They have a survival mechanism. These are one of a collection of plants which have the ability to open and close depending on what the weather is. They are very closed now. Temperature is absolutely freezing, it's frosty. But if the sun was to hit this area, they would all open out, because they know that's the best way to save all their nectar, because the insects that feed on them literally only come out when the sun's out. Very clever strategy. Now we're talking about early spring flowers, and this is probably one of the earliest that you will see. It's often confused for a buttercup. It is Lesser celandine. It is another other species which closes during colder, wetter weather and then opens out when it predicts that the weather is going to be dry. Quite how it knows, I'm really not sure. Maybe it senses some of the moisture in the air. Now there's a few opening today, which makes me think maybe the sun is about to peep out. I'm going to go and get my washing on the line as soon as I get home. This grows predominantly sort of woods, well, at the edges of woodlands, sometimes around the sort of edge of hedgerows. It likes some sort of partial shade, but you can see it on grass verges sort of around some of the estates, which is a shame really, because we get a lot of these yellow flowers that are eventually mowed over when the mowing schedule starts, and they are an important source of nectar for things that are waking up out of hibernation at the moment. So things like queen bees and other insects that are about to go and build colonies will use these when they wake up from hibernation, just to kind of get their energy levels back up so they can go and sort out their nests for the rest of the season. So they're actually quite a significant flower, as are sort of many flowers that are out sort of this time of year in early spring. Just getting everything kick-started. So that is one that you can see, Lesser celandine, and it's out right now, literally all over the place. Now, there are a lot of daffodil species that you can see out in the local area, planted around the place. Most of these are introduced. But did you know we have a native species of daffodil, and this is it. It is significantly smaller than some of the garden centre species you will see planted around parklands and hedgerows. It originates mostly from Wales, but there is many sort of different UK sort of editions of that. And we have some here at Maidbrook, quietly growing in just the side of a small path really. There's a small collection of these here. There's a few sort of further down there as well. I can't zoom in on this unfortunately. But there we go, native daffodils, native UK daffodils. Few and far between, but can be seen right here. Now, when you think of primrose, you probably think more of a garden centre species or an ornamental breed that you might find in public spaces. But did you know it's one of our native woodland species? Our wild native UK primrose appears in early spring, and its bright yellow flowers are really eye-catching, meaning it gets the undivided attention of many of our pollinator insects, which come out of hibernation now and are foraging looking for nectar. that's all from me this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please feel free to share this with anyone that you think might enjoy it, particularly if they are isolating or shielding because of the pandemic. Other than that, guys, stay safe, stay kind, and I'll bring another bulletin next week. Thank you.